everybody. And I find this hilarious, and I'll tell you why in a second. Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers are teaming up for a Reese's and Oreo collaboration. All right, there they are. There they are. Brave, stunning, and courageously hugging each other.
Right then, that collaboration, you know the one, it just absolutely exploded across the internet. We're talking about Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers famously hugging it out in what looked like a super cozy moment, all for a major Reese's and Oreo marketing campaign. But here's the kicker, folks. The internet, with its eagle eyes, immediately spotted something that the entire marketing team apparently didn't even think twice about. Get ready, because we're about to dive deep and break down what is arguably one of the most tone-deaf, yet strangely brilliant marketing moves in the entire history of the WNBA. And trust me, the raw, undeniable hypocrisy that's baked right into this whole situation is truly something to behold.
Reese's Oreo, the official Instagram page of Reese. Interesting. Okay. Their numbers may be 5, but together this duo's a solid 10. Get ready for a slam dunk matchup coming soon.
The official Reese's Oreo Instagram page wasn't shy about this, dropping the collaboration like a bombshell on January 15, 2025. Their caption, designed to be catchy and shareable, boldly declared, "Their numbers may be 5, but together this duo is a solid." Now, if you're steeped in the world of marketing, you'd recognize that as pretty standard brand speak, designed to be playful and engaging. But let me tell you, this isn't just standard marketing. What makes this particular campaign stand out in a way that truly demands scrutiny is the incredibly specific pairing they chose. They intentionally put a prominent black athlete alongside a white LGBTQ+ athlete to sell a product that, in its very essence, literally combines chocolate and white cream. And somehow, in all the meetings, all the brainstorms, all the approvals, it seems absolutely nobody in that high-powered boardroom paused for even a second to ask the most glaringly obvious question, staring everyone right in the face.
You know what's crazy? Reese's could have literally just hired Caitlin Clark, and y'all have gotten a 2-for-1 deal and about 10 times the amount of reach. But okay, that's neither here nor there. Now, guys, keep in mind, if I suggested Reese's should come up with a Oreo mix based on a black athlete.
Now, before we dig any deeper into this, it's absolutely crucial that we establish the blatant double standard at play here. Because believe me, this is precisely where the entire situation gets incredibly, unequivocally interesting. We're talking about the exact same fervent fan base that has dedicated the entire 2024 WNBA season to aggressively labeling anyone who dared to question Angel Reese's efficiency stats as overtly racist. This is the very same vocal group that seems to automatically slap the problematic label on every single Indiana Fever fan, regardless of their individual views. These are the identical people who consistently manage to turn any discussion, no matter how objective, about Caitlin Clark into a heated, racially charged debate. And yet, unbelievably, these exact same individuals are now gleefully celebrating this very campaign, without even the faintest glimmer of irony. Let's be crystal clear. The term Oreo carries profoundly specific racial connotations within American culture. It has a long, painful history of being used as a derogatory slur against black individuals, who are perceived by some as acting white. Everyone, and I mean everyone, in America's cultural landscape is acutely aware of this. But apparently, when a massive, profit-driven corporation decides to leverage this very imagery for financial gain, suddenly it transforms into just good marketing. The disconnect is staggering.
They would haul me out, tie me up, and put me in a rocket launcher and launch me straight into space. All right? I'm sure it wouldn't be Elon. They'd have to find some other, probably Bezos. I'd get launched into the sun. I would be labeled every racist allegation that could possibly be thought of. But nah, it's cool as long as they
But let's shift gears for a moment and really talk about the numbers. Because in the world of sports and marketing, metrics matter tremendously. We need to dissect the raw data here. Consider this. Caitlin Clark was an absolute ratings titan, single-handedly driving an astounding 3.2 million viewers for the WNBA Finals Game 5 back in October of 2024. Her regular season games weren't far behind, averaging a colossal 1.8 million viewers on major national television networks. Now let's look at Angel Reese's Chicago Sky games, specifically those without the draw of Clark. Those games, on average, pulled in a mere 30 to 87,000 viewers. And then you have Paige Bueckers, who, let's remember, hasn't even stepped foot onto a professional WNBA court yet. So, from a purely objective, strategic marketing reach perspective, Reese's could have, without a shadow of a doubt, partnered exclusively with Clark and easily garnered 10 times the exposure, if not more. But they explicitly chose not to. And that, my friends, tells you everything you need to know. This campaign was never about maximizing reach. It was always, unequivocally, about optics and shaping a very specific narrative.
Lee Sheet. I mean, it would be the biggest, fallout, backlash, nuclear backlash since I once called women broads, and all of them got their little feelings hurt. Because none of them grew up in the 70s and 80s when that was like nothing. Crying over that, it was hilarious. I mean,
you know, this whole thing is genuinely wild when you actually stop and think about it. And the immediate public reaction was just as telling. Here's a snapshot of what the comment section looked like within mere hours of the announcement. "Team up in Dallas, please," was one of the absolute top responses. This, of course, was directly referencing the ongoing, widespread speculation about Angel Reese potentially being traded to the Dallas Wings. A rumor that's been swirling around the league since December 2004, right around the time Chicago's front office started undergoing significant changes. But let's look at the reality on the ground. The Dallas Wings, despite having a perfectly respectable 5,000-seat College Park Center, currently can't even come close to selling it out. Not even when the ratings magnet Caitlin Clark is visiting. In fact, last season, a Fever Wings game on June 12th notoriously drew a paltry 47 fans, leaving well over 600 seats glaringly empty, even with Clark's undeniable drawing power. So, the notion that Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers, by teaming up, could somehow magically fill that arena is at best incredibly optimistic wishful thinking. At worst, it's completely detached from reality.
Right here, race baiting in a positive light this time. I mean, honestly, right here, are you not familiar with the term Oreo? Yeah, I mean, I'm just pointing that out. I'm just pointing that out, but it's good. Oh, it's good. Their fans are lapping this up. They're on their knees, lapping this up. Yeah, that I deserve NBA money. The only one. The only one. And of course, oh my God.
But let's do something a little different for a moment. Let's truly flip the script on this entire scenario. Imagine, if you will, a white male commentator. Let's picture a seasoned sports analyst openly suggesting this exact partnership on live television. Imagine him saying, in all earnestness, "You know what would be a truly great Oreo marketing campaign? Let's pair the black player with the white player. I can tell you with absolute certainty that individual would be unemployed within 20 minutes. The think pieces condemning him would practically write themselves, saturating every corner of the internet. Twitter, or X as it's now known, would erupt in a furious, unified demand for immediate apologies. And corporate sponsors, they would be running for the exits faster than you can say crisis management. Yet, when a colossal corporation executes this exact strategy, when they quite literally exploit the racial optics as their primary selling point, it's not just tolerated, it's celebrated, lauded as cutting-edge, inclusive marketing. The hypocrisy here isn't merely subtle or a minor oversight. It is, quite frankly, the entire meticulously crafted strategy.
I wanted to touch on this because I did a video when Elle Duncan left, or is leaving, or going to Netflix, because ESPN told her to get out. She wanted to play double duty, and they said, nah, you head your ass on over to Netflix. Malika Andrews is the leading candidate to become ESPN's lead WNBA studio host after the departure of Elle Duncan, sources told Front Office Sports. No deal has been finalized, and a spokesperson for ESPN declined to comment.
Now, let's address what is undeniably the elephant in the room when we talk about media coverage, especially within the WNBA. This entire conversation ties directly and explicitly into the significant Malika Andrews announcement that initially noted on January 4th. Front Office Sports, a highly respected industry publication, reported that Andrews is the leading, front-running candidate to take over from Elle Duncan as ESPN's new lead WNBA studio host, following Duncan's high-profile departure to Netflix. It's critical to recall that Duncan spent the entire 2024 season, in the words of many commentators, performing what became known as the infuriating "oh, but wait" routine. Every single time she mentioned Caitlin Clark's record-shattering numbers, she would immediately, almost instinctively, pivot to either Angel Reese or Aja Wilson. Clark breaks the rookie's scoring record, but wait, Duncan would interject, let's shift the conversation to Reese's impressive rebounding. Clark leads all rookies in assists, but wait, she'd quickly follow. Wilson is having an MVP-caliber season. It became so incredibly predictable that it bordered on absolute parody, undermining any real analysis.
The Athletic first reported that Duncan is poised to leave ESPN to become the face of Netflix sports studio coverage. Duncan also hosts the 6 p.m. Sports Center with Kevin Nagandi and has been the lead anchor of ESPN's women's college basketball coverage, including the Final Four. Andrews is a natural choice for the WNBA role, as she's already begun hosting coverage of the league for ESPN the last year.
In sharp contrast to that pattern, Malika Andrews as a professional truly represents a markedly different and refreshing approach to sports broadcasting. She's not just some newcomer, she's already a well-established figure, having skillfully hosted highly visible programs like NBA Today and NBA Countdown, and she notably took the reins for the opening night WNBA coverage. And here's what genuinely matters. What fundamentally sets her apart. There is absolutely no documented history of Andrews engaging in the same consistently dismissive pattern toward Caitlin Clark that Elle Duncan so masterfully perfected. Instead, Andrews has consistently maintained a respectful, professional distance, allowing the games themselves and the players' performances to speak entirely for themselves. This, let me tell you, is not just a minor adjustment. It represents a truly significant, paradigm-shifting change for ESPN's WNBA coverage moving forward. The background story for those who missed it is that Duncan had expressed a desire to juggle both her demanding ESPN duties and her burgeoning commitments with Netflix. ESPN, however, presented her with a clear choice, a decisive ultimatum. She ultimately chose Netflix's lucrative offer. That critical decision became official in early January 2025, and now we are witnessing the inevitable, far-reaching reshuffling that comes with such a significant talent departure.
Opening night. She's the lead host of NBA Today and NBA Countdown, the latter of which is scaled back this season as ESPN is licensing Inside the NBA with Charles Barkley, Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, and Shaq. Andrews has resumed her role as NBA sideline reporter for ESPN this season. It was not immediately known what ESPN's plan is for women's college basketball, or 6 p.m.
But let's swing our focus back to the Reese's Oreo campaign for a moment, because the precise timing of its release is actually far more significant than it might first appear. This particular collaboration dropped smack dab in the middle of the WNBA offseason, a period when player movement speculation and trade rumors are absolutely at their fever pitch, dominating every sports discussion. And get this, the league had just announced a staggering 4-time salary increase for players, set to kick in starting in 2025, effectively elevating the average salary from a respectable $130,000 to over $500,000. That's more than 5. Yet, even with this monumental financial boost, players are, astonishingly, still publicly complaining about their housing arrangements. Breanna Stewart, a prominent player, famously posted about accommodation issues on January 8th, and Janai Carrington echoed those exact same concerns just 2 days later. The sheer disconnect here is absolutely staggering to comprehend. You're talking about players receiving a monumental 30 to 85% pay increase, and yet, the core focus of their public grievances seems to be fixated on whether their temporary housing boasts granite countertops. The priorities, it seems, are wildly out of sync.
Be on the lookout for the Paige Bueckers, Angel Reese. Totally racist if you say it and come up with it. Reese's Oreo collaboration, but not racist at all because they came up with it and they're involved. Peace, I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks so much for sticking with the show today, folks. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please be sure to smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and of course subscribe for more in-depth analyses. So, when you peel back all the layers, here's what this Reese's Oreo campaign truly, profoundly represents. It's a perfect encapsulation, a mirror reflecting exactly where the WNBA finds itself right now in the midst of a profound identity crisis. The league has, against all odds, finally captured mainstream attention, a phenomenon driven almost exclusively by Caitlin Clark's absolutely record-breaking rookie season. Let's not forget, she averaged an incredible 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game, shattering rookie records in both categories. She single-handedly propelled the Indiana Fever to their first playoff appearance in years. And in doing so, she ignited television ratings that the league hadn't witnessed in over 2 decades. And yet, here's the infuriating reality. The marketing partnerships, the lucrative endorsement deals, they keep flowing to seemingly everyone except her. Angel Reese, for context, averaged 13.6 points and 13.1 rebounds for a Chicago Sky team that finished a dismal 13-27, missing the playoffs entirely. Paige Bueckers, as we've noted, hasn't even played a single professional game yet, but they are the ones scoring the coveted Oreo deal. Because, as this situation vividly illustrates, the narrative has been deemed to matter far more than the numbers, because the carefully curated optics of diversity and inclusion, regardless of actual on-court impact, appear to sell better than pure undeniable performance. Because, from a certain strategic viewpoint, you simply can't be accused of favoritism if you intentionally sidestep and avoid the very person who actually, demonstrably moved the needle for your entire league. Now, let's talk about the comment section for a minute. The very same people who are ecstatically celebrating this partnership are, in the same breath, simultaneously labeling Caitlin Clark's fans as inherently racist. This, my friends, is the perfect, distilled microcosm of the current WNBA discourse. These are the identical individuals who can scrutinize every single criticism of Angel Reese's 39% field goal percentage and immediately perceive it as racism, yet they somehow find absolutely nothing problematic about a multi-million-dollar marketing campaign that quite literally uses racial contrast as its central hook. The very same fans who vociferously demand that Clark share credit for the league's unprecedented growth have no issue whatsoever with high-profile campaigns that exclude her entirely from the spotlight. And here's the undeniable kicker, the most cynical twist. This campaign will probably work. It won't work because Reese and Bueckers possess the raw, broad reach to move product at Clark's unparalleled level. They demonstrably do not, and the stark ratings prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. No, it will work because, in our current media landscape, controversy sells. The very debate we are having right now, this impassioned discussion, is precisely what Reese's, the brand, wanted. They knew, with absolute certainty, that this pairing would generate discussion. They understood that people would inevitably point out the obvious racial optics. They were fully aware that the hypocrisy would be glaring, stark, and impossible to ignore. And they did it anyway because negative attention, in the cold calculus of modern marketing, still undeniably drives brand awareness and keeps the product in the conversation. The real pressing question, however, is what this entire saga says about the direction the WNBA is ultimately headed. This league just secured a monumental $2.2 billion media rights deal in July 2024. A deal that was largely, if not entirely, forged on the immense strength of Clark-driven ratings and her undeniable star power. Yet, the broader marketing ecosystem surrounding the league continues to treat her, bafflingly, like an afterthought. Reese gets the high-profile Oreo deal. Wilson commands the MVP coverage and accolades. Bueckers generates massive, pre-draft hype and anticipation. And Clark, she consistently gets criticized for not being vocal enough about social issues, for not sharing the spotlight enough, for having fans that are supposedly inherently problematic. This is the exact insidious pattern we witnessed unfold throughout the entire last season. Clark breaks the single-game assist record with 19 assists against the Dallas Wings in July. The conversation immediately, inexplicably, shifts to whether her teammates deserve more credit for her achievement. She leads all rookies in scoring, assists, three-pointers made, and minutes played. No. The narrative dictates, let's instead talk about Reese's impressive double-double streak. She drives the fever from being the worst-attended team in 2020. The focus then pivots to how the league's overall growth supposedly benefits everyone equally, conveniently downplaying her singular, monumental impact. The Oreo campaign is just the latest, most egregious example of this frustrating dynamic. And what makes it particularly frustrating, truly irksome, is that it didn't have to be this way at all. Reese's, the brand, had numerous, far more logical and impactful options. They could have easily done a solo campaign with Caitlin Clark herself and reaped the benefits of her massive, undeniable reach. They could have opted for a powerful trio campaign featuring Clark, Reese, and Wilson, showcasing different playing styles and personalities, celebrating the breadth of talent in the league. They could have, with all due respect, simply waited for Paige Bueckers to actually play a professional WNBA game before building an entire marketing campaign around her potential. Instead, they consciously chose the two players who, despite their individual merits, primarily served to create the most convenient, politically correct narrative, while simultaneously delivering the least measurable impact in terms of viewership and tangible market reach. And the fans who are currently celebrating this campaign, they are, I guarantee you, the exact same ones who will be complaining bitterly in 6 months when WNBA ratings inevitably drop because Clark isn't receiving the promotional support and equitable spotlight she desperately needs to maintain interest. They're the same ones who will passionately demand equal pay for players while simultaneously rejecting the one player who is unequivocally generating the revenue to actually justify those salary increases. They're the same ones who will call you a racist for daring to point out that Angel Reese shot 39.1% from the field. Because apparently numbers don't lie, but they are deemed racist if they don't align perfectly with the preferred predetermined narrative. So, where does this leave us at the end of the day? It leaves us staring at a marketing campaign that perfectly, almost brutally, captures the WNBA's profound identity crisis, a league that desperately craves mainstream success, but paradoxically seems to resent the very player who delivered it. A fan base that fiercely demands respect and recognition while simultaneously attacking anyone who dares to bring objective analysis or data into the conversation. And a media ecosystem that would far rather push a convenient, feel-good narrative than acknowledge the often uncomfortable realities. The Oreo campaign, in this light, isn't tone-deaf at all. No, it's perfectly, strategically calculated, and that, ironically, is precisely what makes it so incredibly revealing. What do you think? Is this truly brilliant marketing, or is it blatant, undeniable hypocrisy on full display? Drop your take, your perspective, your comments down below, and whatever you do, please don't forget to subscribe, because this conversation, I promise you, is just getting started. The WNBA offseason is heating up in ways we never expected, and if this campaign is any indication, the 2025 season is going to be even more chaotic, even more compelling than the